Good morning, welcome to a morning review. This is Kim Watson speaking for Ezeetrader. Okay, the Fed yesterday surprised the markets with a slightly more dovish view than expected. As I said earlier in the week in the video update, that it was going to be one of those sitting on the wall type. No one knew which way they were going to run, and it looks like even they didn't really know too well, and ended up in a much more dovish sort of mode at this point. So where we're sitting at the moment, well, Euro and some of the currencies did quite well from the moves. Realistically, if there's the old saying, if the US sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold so often. So whilst it was possibly good news short term for a weaker dollar and probably stronger euro, pound, etc., the longer term may not be. I mean, that may not be in very short term, because the markets may just all come back and move back to in the sort of zones they already were. I mean, if it's bad in the US, it's no likely going to be any better in Europe at the moment, and the situation could get worse there, and which means more liquidity needing to be pumped in, or more help, which in turn means a weaker euro eventually, or at least a flat euro. So we could well end up getting back within range. Today the euro, it's I'm looking at a 60-minute chart here. Let's just look at the dailies first. And the dailies, I mean, yesterday put a big bullish swing, pivot swing sitting in there. Break of the highs of that would suggest further upside towards that 1.6 area, maybe even the 1.7 area again, or 1.16, 1.17 areas. However, not overly convinced at the moment. We have got the daily pivot below us, which could well be hit at some point this morning. We missed it yesterday actually, which bearing in mind how close we were to it, did expect it to come back down, but as it happens, it may catch it today, and then I think we've really got to decide on a direction. It's got to be extended away from its hourly 50, which may in itself cause it to come back towards that, or the 50 may just catch up. But side of that, if it does start rallying and breaks yesterday's highs, where the R1 certainly looks like a reasonable sort of target area there at 1.476, so it's a possibility. But for now, I'm currently short from yesterday, a small position, an overnight position, which I'm holding down towards that pivot and maybe even further. Okay, so euros at the moment edging, as I say, edging towards the weaker side, short for a short while, with a pivot underneath. Although could, if it does bounce off that pivot, could go for it. Cable's been a bit more bullish this morning so far, but it's already done some stuff. Let's have a look at the dailies first. And again, nice, reasonable bar yesterday. It did pull back quite a lot. It gave away quite a lot of its gains towards the end of the session, or the end of the day, should I say. Holding on a little bit now. It's just pushed up. Its extremes on the shorter time frames got quite overbought. It's already hit the pivot. Did that from the short. I mean, it just came straight back down. It's quite an odd one, that one, but I say odd, quite normal really. It's just coming back towards the zone it was riding in before the news came out, really. We could well see it. It was just watch it today. If it breaks these lows here, I would be looking for it to come back towards that 50, maybe even towards the S1. Alternatively, get a bit of a rally, pushes up above the 7 o'clock bar. Could be on for the R1, and the continuation of this move. We'll just watch how it goes. The trend is certainly up, but I'm not convinced by the trend overly. Okay, dollar yen. One thing I'd mention now on the pound is if the US don't put interest rates up, I think it'd be a rare case for the UK to start putting interest rates up first. So dollar yen sitting in its wedge, its daily wedge still. It's tried to break out throughout that, through this morning's the Asian session. Just tried to break out a little bit, just pulling back within that range. It could come off a little bit more. Looking from the hourly point of view, already caught the daily pivot. funny old sort of price action going on here at the moment. Certainly an uncertain sort of market. It's been sitting in this range for some time. Already hit daily pivot S1. Could see it bounce back towards the daily pivot from these sort of levels. Any sort of move beyond that 200, perhaps it could be bullish again on it. And it's much more sort of a recovery of the dollar, really, potential. And finally, the Aussie dollar. Right. Okay, gave back its gains very early, not surprising really, and throughout the sessions. Still, to me, it looks erring towards the bearish side. It has now gone up, hit the 50 daily 50s and things like this. It's got a few out of the way, but this morning through the early Asian session, it's had a push back up again. As I say, I'm not totally convinced by this overall movement. Looking at where we are here, I did that pipe top, really odd old position that it did there. I mean, it's very bearish when we see these tops, but I mean, it's just gave way everything almost straight away. Let's just refresh this chart. There we go. So already through to the daily pivot. I'm erring towards the bearish side as ever with the Aussie dollar, but it has been in a reasonable trend. It has put higher highs in and well, effectively marginal higher lows, but on the bigger picture, probably view as higher lows, higher highs. At this stage here, I think we really, I'm looking, if we start breaking this trend line, well, we could be back off towards yesterday's lows and maybe the S1. It's not a convincing picture that we're seeing at the moment, just edging its way up very, very slowly. Certainly, again, although the trend's quite reasonable, I still look at it as being one of the weaker pairings. Right, okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great day. I'll speak to you on Monday. Bye for now.